welcome to the Stand Office. So happy to have you here. And to talk a bit about your project and the Ideas Collective, your own experience, and yeah, just hear a bit more about what you've been up to. And maybe to start off, we could hear a bit like about yourself, like who you are, what you do, and maybe you can shortly explain what your project is.
Yes, so I'm currently studying computer science at TU Dublin. I also do my own venture, which is Biabox. This is a business that helps people to reduce the food waste and tackle living costs. That's big around sustainability, and this is about food redistribution. About my personal background, I'm from Ukraine, came to Ireland in 2022, and currently doing computer science and also working as an intern in the company.
Okay, that's amazing. So you're probably busy all the time with all those endeavors.
Yeah, trying to keep up with it.
Yeah, I can imagine. Maybe you can tell us a bit about how you got involved in Biabox and yeah, what you exactly do.
Yeah, so this is a long journey. Originally, I was a part of an active since 2M. I came to one of the events back at university when I was first year. I met Alan firstly. This was my co-founder for Refridge. And by that time, he was still in his final year, so we were working closely on that. He brought me into the idea of food redistribution and sustainability. So we started working on Refridge. It was pretty successful. We created a food pantry. So now across all campuses at TU Dublin, there's a food pantry project that operates on a steady basis and helps the students to receive some food donations.
Amazing. And how did you get from Refridge to Biabox? And what's the difference maybe?
So after that, we found that there was like a specific limitation that we only served a particular community group. We didn't tackle a broader sector, which obviously includes some of the families. So we decided to expand beyond our campus to see the needs that other people experience.
Mm.
So we scaled and came up with the idea that there are some families that also require some support in terms of food deliveries. And that's how we came up with the idea of doing something similar like Too Good To Go plus Deliveroo. So basically, we helped the families who struggle with living costs and for those who also want to help out in terms of sustainability and food waste reduction. And it covers broader community. So we just kind of expanded the impact, I would say.
Okay, amazing. So like Refridge was focused on like students and Biabox also for families and the broader community.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, amazing. So with Biabox and Refridge, you kind of tackle two issues, right? It's food waste and then also food insecurity. How did you realize that those two issues were connected, and how did you come up with the idea to solve those issues in some way?
Yeah, there are many researches around this problem, and obviously personal experience that mainly help to understand that students, one of the vulnerable groups of the society who struggle with the financial stability, so they require the most of the support. And personal experience, some feedback from other students, and a bit of research helped out to understand that there is an issue. And there were many other projects that were tackling this in adjacent way in the US and across Europe. There are many other examples of projects that also work in that field to tackle the food waste reduction and insecurity and living cost crisis.
Okay, amazing. It's amazing that you saw the issue, but that you also like wanted to do something about it, and you've been so successful at it. So yeah, congratulations on that so far. Um, a lot of people kind of connect sustainability with like recycling or upcycling, but you tackled another kind of issue that is more so like food waste. How did your project change the way that you think about sustainability?
I'd say we also include the full circle. We try to make it a circular economy, and that also includes recycling at the end. Um, about sustainability, if you think about how much food waste we produce, that's a lot that causes lots of CO2 emissions, which affects the planet. So it ends up on the landfills, and by degrading into smaller pieces, it produces the CO2 and affects the planet. So that's why that a huge impact is on the planet and environment if we overproduce the food and we just waste it. And in terms of the sustainability and like a circular economy, as much as we try to save the food, obviously if it's close to expiry date, it was supposed to go to the landfills, but we saved it otherwise. But even from that point, if there's any leftover food that we weren't able to reallocate, there are still options to do some of the recycling. There's a digester, like a bacteria digester that helps, anaerobic digester. If we put some of the food that we didn't use, this bacteria can absorb it and produce a good soil for some gardens and farmers. So that's the opportunity we're looking in the future to include this in our full circle. But focus on sustainability for us is main to include at the moment as sustainable process as we can, which also includes boxes. So we'll be able to pack the food items into the boxes that were sustainably created, and we make sure that we have proper delivery, so it's also aligned with the norms in terms of how much CO2 we produce. So we try to keep an eye on that.
Amazing. A lot of your project is built on the community, volunteers, just groups of people that really care about the same issues that you care about. During the work in your project, what have you learned about building a community that really cares about making positive impact?
I think that's essential part of it, to make sure that we have good bonds that help us to move forward, especially if it relies on the volunteering engine. We need to have the same vision and cause, and if the vision and the good cause is clear, then this attracts people. People tend to see in terms of direction where it's going and join you. So for sure, we're trying to make to establish the good bond and connection between our volunteers, so they feel the part of something and they are involved in something bigger that helps themselves and also people that surround them.
And how would you say you do that? Do you have like certain core values that you communicate, or how do you make sure those values are aligned with Biabox and Refridge?
Values would be the most important one. As I said, the vision and the values, they have to be clear. Then volunteers have to see how does it benefit them in the way, and we're trying to bring something back to them in terms of their experience, communication, collaboration, the way how they can be supported. It's something like community based. So for sure, it has to include this aspect of voluntary contribution, but there has to be some feedback and we try to make it established so all volunteers feel the part of the community through the common shared vision and shared values. We try to make sure that people see the impact and that this helps. And when you see something that is changing in the good way, you are motivated and inspired to continue doing this.
Yeah. Talking about community a bit more. Last year you were part of the Ideas Collective, and I just wanted to ask you how taking part in the Ideas Collective has impacted the project and helped you on your journey on creating the project.
I'm glad that I found this community. This is a very supportive environment. And frankly speaking, I got so many insights and useful advice in terms of what to do. Not just advice, but actual help. I feel that's the most important. In entrepreneurship and in your journey, you are basically struggling all the time and you need to go forward. And the best thing about it is if there are people who surround you, who help you to move forward, then you're feeling empowered. And that's what Ideas Collective helps with. It helped me and my co-founder Alan and other mates who participated in that to see the vision, to see how we can progress, what are the steps to do so, and not only that, but also the actions and potentially the connections that help out with that. So it's definitely useful in terms of the impact and the values that it brings, but also in terms of your personal development and spiritually, it was such a helpful thing to be able to navigate through this journey with someone else.
And maybe could you say a bit more about the community part in the Ideas Collective? Like, was it helpful for you to do the project with a partner? Like, what has that meant for you, the teamwork of it?
So yes, for sure, it was helpful. The community and the people who surrounded us. We were working all together, so it wasn't specifically one team against another. So it was more like a fostering environment, collaboration. People shared their experiences, opinions, what they thought, how we could improve, and still are sharing. So we have some connections left from the Ideas Collective, and people are still helping out and bringing their ideas if they see something useful on LinkedIn or somewhere else. They share this link to apply for, which I think is important to establish this kind of connection with people who participate in Ideas Collective. And this was super helpful in terms of collaboration, I'd say. So mainly, it didn't feel competitive in comparison to other incubator programs where you are fighting to get some investment or something like that. Here, it was more friendly and it helped to foster not just in your own pace, but all together to work on some bigger cause, not just your own thing, but trying to empower the others as well. So that's important.
Yeah, I think that's probably the most special part about the Ideas Collective is how like everyone like steps aside from their own projects and takes time to like talk to other people, help their programs and projects and help develop their ideas as well. Maybe for everyone that is watching this and is thinking about participating in the Ideas Collective, or maybe they have an idea for a change but they don't know where to start, what would your advice for them be?
Just my main advice would be trying to take opportunities that you are given. Not necessarily you will be available at the moment, but you appreciate yourself in 2 weeks' time or a month's time when you come and see, actually, I have time now and I have the opportunity to participate in that. But poor me, I didn't apply for this before. so I'm not available to participate in it now. And my motto would be, you usually take what you can get, and then you see if you're capable of doing it. If not, you just say no. There's no harm in that, and it won't affect yourself in the future. Just saying no, it's not taking a particular chance. But if you do say yes, then you're going to see a wider community, the opportunities you will be open to, something bigger that your normal routine, to be able to open your own vision and perspectives. So I'd say my advice would be, try to see those opportunities, which includes Ideas Collective. Even if you feel right now that this is not the time, you might feel differently in a month's time or in 2 months' time. And then you're going to think yourself back right now that you were able to apply and participate in that opportunity.
That's amazing. I like that mindset. It's very like focused on trying and growing as you go, and taking a chance when you get it. Maybe talking about visions and the future. Where do you see Biabox and Refridge in maybe 5 years?
I hope in this year, this is like a foundation year. At the moment, we have a motivated team that is inspired and share the same goal and the shared vision, the same vision. And I want to install a proper foundation of it to make sure that this runs independently without me. So I'll be satisfied to see in 5 years' time if this is going to be like a separate entity, and me more like advising or being on the chairboard or something like that, and see that this helps many people, that this grows not just in Dublin but across Ireland in general, and to see the scale of the impact of helping the community. My ideal vision would be to see Biabox as a food redistribution delivery service that helps people, does these workshops, something friendlier and that brings happiness and support to the communities around Ireland. And it would be, I consider it success. Even at the moment, I feel we have those small wins, but my goal would be, when I graduate and when I want to go deeply into my career, I want to see myself part of the Biabox as a chairperson or something related to the navigator rather than being an engine. I want to see that the community now is empowered and is able to take it by itself to move forward and to scale it up. So
amazing. I hope that that is in the future for you, and that your project is successful in the future as well. I know you've already been so impactful, and you guys have achieved so much already. And I hope in the near future you'll reach all those goals that you have, and you'll get where you want to be.
thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much. The Ideas Collective is a free summer boot camp for students and recent graduates with an idea for social change. Find out more at stand.ie.